something strange. Thousands of people search for a $10,000 Social Security cap every single year, and yet no such policy has ever existed. So what are they actually finding? And why does the confusion matter more than you'd think? If you've ever gone looking for a straight answer about Social Security caps and come away more confused than when you started, that's not because you did something wrong. It's because there are actually three completely different things called a cap hiding inside this program. They get talked about interchangeably online, and mixing them up can lead you to make the wrong decision at exactly the wrong moment. So today, we're untangling all three in plain language with the real 2026 numbers, and then we're going to land on the one that's genuinely news right now, a proposal that could reshape what maximum Social Security even means going forward. Let's start with cap number 1, because it's the one most working Americans brush up against every single year without realizing it has a name: the wage base cap. This is the ceiling on how much of your income actually gets taxed for Social Security in the first place. For 2026, that ceiling sits at $184,500, up from $176,100 last year, an increase of $8,400. Here's what that actually means in practice. If you earn $150,000 a year, every dollar of it gets taxed for Social Security at 6.2%. But if you earn $300,000, only the first $184,500 gets taxed. Everything above that line is completely free from the Social Security payroll tax. To put a real number on it, someone earning $10,000 over that cap saves about $620 in Social Security taxes they'd otherwise owe. Someone earning $30,000 over the cap saves close to $1,860. This is genuinely good news if you're a high earner, and it's actually the mechanism at the center of one of the most debated fixes for Social Security's funding gap, because eliminating or raising this cap even further is one of the most commonly proposed ways to bring more revenue into the system without touching anyone's actual benefit. Cap number 2 is the one that trips up people who claim benefits early and then decide to keep working. And understanding this one properly can genuinely change your claiming strategy for the better. It's called the earnings test, and here's how it works for 2026. If you're collecting Social Security before reaching your full retirement age, you can earn up to $24,480 without any impact on your benefit at all. Earn beyond that, and Social Security withholds $1 for every $2 over the limit. If you're turning your full retirement age sometime during the year, the limit jumps to $65,160, with a gentler $1 withheld for every $3 over. And once you actually reach full retirement age, this test disappears completely. You can earn any amount with zero impact on your check. Here's the part that turns this from a scary rule into genuinely encouraging news, and it's the piece almost nobody explains clearly. That withheld money is not gone. It's not a penalty. It's essentially a forced loan back to yourself, because once you hit full retirement age, Social Security recalculates your benefit upward to account for those withheld months, permanently increasing your future monthly check. So if you're someone who claimed early, went back to work, and got a smaller check for a while, that money is coming back to you in the form of a higher payment for the rest of your life. Understanding this properly means you can make an informed, strategic choice about working while claiming, instead of avoiding a job opportunity out of fear based on a rule you never fully understood. Now let's get to the third one, and this is the genuinely big story, the one that's actually trending right now and could reshape the entire conversation around Social Security's future. A real, currently debated proposal to cap the maximum benefit a retiree can receive. Here's the background you need. Right now, if someone earned at or above the maximum taxable income every single year of their career starting at age 22 and waited until age 70 to claim, they could receive as much as $5,181 a month in 2026 before any taxes. That's over $62,000 a year. And for a married couple where both spouses hit that maximum, combined household Social Security income can approach or even exceed $100,000 annually. That number has started raising eyebrows in Washington, and in March of 2025, the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, a nonpartisan think tank, released a proposal they're calling the six-figure limit. The idea is straightforward. Cap total annual Social Security benefits at $100,000 for married couples and $50,000 for individual retirees. The reasoning connects directly back to a problem we've covered before. Social Security's trust fund is projected to run short of money as early as 2032, and without changes, that triggers an automatic across-the-board benefit cut of roughly 28% for every single recipient, high earners and modest earners alike. Supporters of this proposal argue that a targeted cap on the very highest earners is a fairer way to close part of that gap than an across-the-board cut that hits everyone, including retirees who are relying on Social Security as their primary income source. As policy director Mark Goldwine put it, a program originally designed to keep seniors out of poverty was never meant to pay out six-figure annual incomes to already wealthy retirees. And here's the genuinely encouraging detail buried in this proposal, the one that should ease a lot of anxiety if you just heard Social Security cap and felt your stomach drop. This would affect less than 2% of the 56 million Americans aged 65 and older who currently receive Social Security. 98% of beneficiaries would see absolutely no change to their check under this proposal. This isn't a broad cut aimed at everyday retirees. It's a narrow, targeted adjustment aimed specifically at the small slice of retirees pulling in six-figure annual benefits, typically couples who both earned at the maximum taxable income for decades and both delayed claiming until age 70, a very specific and relatively rare combination of circumstances. That said, this isn't a settled, done deal, and it's worth understanding the pushback too, because it shapes whether this actually becomes law. Retirement advocacy groups, including AARP, have pushed back hard, arguing that any cap or reduction, even one targeted narrowly at high earners, sets a precedent that chips away at Social Security's core promise that if you pay in throughout your career, you get that money back out, regardless of how much you paid in. Their argument is less about the current 2% and more about what happens if the cap threshold quietly moves lower over time once the mechanism exists at all. That's a legitimate, fair concern, and it's part of why this remains an active political debate rather than settled policy, which is exactly why understanding it now while it's still being discussed actually matters, instead of just reacting to a headline after a vote has already happened. So here's where all three of these caps come together, and here's the genuinely useful takeaway if you've made it this far. None of these three caps are the same thing, and knowing the difference protects you from two very different mistakes. If you're a high earner still working, the wage-based cap is about your paycheck, and it's already working in your favor above $184,500. If you're thinking about claiming early and working part-time, remember the earnings test isn't a penalty, it's a delayed benefit increase, and that knowledge alone might change your entire claiming strategy for the better. And if you're one of the small number of people whose household is genuinely on track for a six-figure combined benefit, keep an eye on this specific proposal over the next couple of years, not with dread, but with the kind of calm, early awareness that lets you adjust a plan gradually instead of scrambling later. If this finally untangled 3 things that get lumped together and confused constantly, hit like, because that's what tells this platform to put the accurate version of this story in front of the next person who searched a scary, made-up number and got a confusing mess of half answers instead of clarity. Subscribe if you want the update the moment this 6-figure limit proposal actually moves through Congress, because we'll break down exactly what changes and for whom the day it happens. Comment and tell me honestly, before this video, did you think all 3 of these were the same thing? Because I want to know how widespread this mix-up actually is. Share this with the specific person in your life who forwarded you a scary headline about a Social Security cap without any context, because now you can actually tell them which one they meant, and more importantly, whether it even applies to them. Clarity beats panic every single time, and now you've got both.